Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Joshua Jones. This is GLHFMTG on the YouTube. So, I want to talk about Guilds of Ravnica guild kits. Today, the Boros guild kit. But basically, the guild kit was a 60 card product that came like as a pre made deck that you could play straight out of the box. But the cards aren't standard legal. Well, at least not all of them. And because of that, excuse me, if you want to play like later on, and you kind of like just still out, you can't transition into standard. So what are we going to transition into? We're going to transition into EDH. So the whole purpose of this is if you bought the guild kit and you want an EDH deck for kind of like on the cheaper end, and you just like want this to start off at. So if you see a block around a card in this video, then that means that that card was included in the guild kit deck. This is meant to be fun and flavorful, so what we're going to do is we're going to highlight the mechanics of each guild. In this case, the Boros mechanics are Radiance, Mentor, and Battalion. I made it required so where you have at least 25 of the cards in this EDH deck that are from that guild. So keeping it to $1 for each card that's not included in the guild kit. Let's have that information and start us off with the Legion. Aurelia, the War Leader. Alright, basically this is an angel that whenever it attacks for the first time each turn, you can untap all the creatures you control, and after this phase you get an additional combat phase. Yeah, that's what Aurelia does. So just Boros is a combat oriented guild and it wants to win with combat damage, just beating phase. If you ever run with Aurelia enough times that you want to switch it up, you can also run any of these legendary creatures, including the Boros Archangel, which was in the guild kit, but I wouldn't run that as a primary just because it's not that powerful, and the Aurelia is a little bit better as far as the commander position goes. Tajik, for some reason, wasn't in the guild kit, but that's a pretty good commander at 3 mana, as far as good goes with being Boros and everything. Alright, moving on. The first mechanic is the Radiance mechanic. So as you see here, Radiance has to deal with the sharing a color with the creatures. So I'm only running 2 of them, and it's Wojcik Apothecary and Wojcik Ember Mage. Basically, whenever you tap it, it deals 1 damage to target creature and each creature that shares a color. And then in the other cases, prevent the next 1 damage to target creature and then each that shares a color. Yeah, that's it for Radiance. Let's move on. The Mentor mechanic allows you to put a 1/1 counter on target attacking creature with lesser power whenever this creature attacks. We're featuring the Mentor mechanic in here because it was highlighted inside the guild kit deck, and it is the newest mechanic to grace the Boros guild. Not going to talk about it too much on any of these cards, except for whenever the cards come into play on a more serious role, but most of these are fillers just for the flavor. As far as the Banneret and the Challenger go, they do have like an ability to pump their own power so that the Mentor mechanic can go off on other creatures, and it is like a mana dump. I just wish that instead of a Mentor saying 1/1 counter on target creature with lesser power, it just said put a 1/1 counter on target attacking creature. I mean, I don't think that would have broke anything, even if it said like put a 1/1 counter on another target attacking creature, but the lesser power thing really like underpowers it, and I think Wizards was kind of, being safe with that. Anyways, here we see the Legion War Boss, which has been discussed as like the new Ravel Master. Ravel Master made all your goblins attack each combat of Able. War Boss only makes the goblin that it creates at the beginning of a combat attack this turn of Able, so there is the advantage to the War Boss in that area. But the Mentor mechanic is not as powerful as the buff that Ravel Master gave. So, yeah. Next up, we just kind of wrap it up with the mentor creatures. Captain Truefire guy here, or girl, I don't know. Anyways, Truefire Captain. Whenever it's dealt damage, you get to deal that much damage to target player, so that's kind of cool. But, being that it's only 3 toughness, I don't know, it's kind of cool. I guess you could deal like 17 to it, and it would die after 3 toughness, but you still get to deal 17 damage to that player. That's a thing, maybe. So we see our Battalion mechanic leading the way with Legion Loyalist at $4 came in the guild kit. This is a Rockstar and 8 whack goblins in Modern. It's a 1/1 with haste for 1 mana, so it's already like, better than whatever that 1/1 with haste goblin is that I'm embarrassed because I don't know right now. But anyways, whenever it attacks with 2 other creatures, and that's going to be the same for all the battalion, it gets first strike and trample and can't be blocked by creature tokens. Elite and core also have the battalion mechanic, and then they just give some like increment of value along with the rest of the creatures that have battalion. Boros Mastiff, First Fist Striker, and Daring Skyjeet just keep us going with the battalion mechanic here. Nothing too special to talk about other than their early drops with power, matching what you would expect from early drops in a Boros deck. Moving on. Medic Halberdaries. One of these days I'm going to learn how to say that word right. And Nav Squad Commandos all just have the battalion mechanic. So again, incremental advantages. Okay, so to wrap up the battalion mechanic, we see Veteran, Infantry, and Avenger. So that's it. I don't want to talk about it too much, but you can view the full deck list and read the cards whenever you get a chance. We're trying to keep this to a quick one today, so we'll move on. In the removal suite, I started us off with the target removal. So Declaration of Stone is just going to let you get rid of any creature, but you do give them a clue, so it means that later on they can pay 2 mana and sack it to draw a card. And then it's great against token strategies because it also exiles all the other creatures with the chosen name. But again, they do get those, they're going to get those clues for later on. Boros Charm I included in the removal suite because it's the only way we have to deal with planeswalkers in this deck. It's great to have these modal spells because they provide utility, and like you could always just use them for whatever you need them for. I mean, provided that it's under the choose one clause. Anyways, moving on. We have Banishing Light, Oblation, and Oblivion Ring. These are how we're going to deal with tough to deal with permanents and non-land permanents. Well, only non-land permanents, but you see what I'm saying here. Banishing Light and Oblivion Ring, they'll get their permanent back later on if they can get rid of these enchantments. And then Oblation, they might draw it from the 2 that they're going to draw after shuffling, but that'd be highly unlikely. Then we have Divine Reckoning and Hour of Revelation to just kind of like clear the board out of creatures and non-land permanents respectively for us. And the flashback mechanics featured here, and I just love flashback because it's like having 2 spells on 1 card, and that extends out your playability of your deck, which is, kind of great. I think sometimes too, like, you could kind of cheat on your removal suite for sweepers if you have flashback on your sweeper or your removal spell or card draw or whatever you have that has flashback on it. You can kind of count that as 2 spells, sort of, most of the time. So like, you can kind of add in a card that would normally fit into that category for you because of flashback. It's pretty sweet. Route, Fumigate, and Martial Coup just like round it out as far as getting rid of creatures for us. They all have either flash, life gain, or giving us some soldiers at 5 and 7 manas respectively. So to refill our hand after we've removed things and played out our creatures, we're going to use combat damage to do that. So Skulk on Skeleton's Key, and then pretty much just like loot effects on these other 2 artifacts, let us churn through our deck and just keep the cards going, keep the good cards in our hands and the bad cards out of our hands. So yeah. Dawn of Hope, Key to the City, Arcane Encyclopedia, and Seer Sundial. I'll have some sort of like clause that we have to meet in order to pay 2 or 3 mana to draw a card. That's what you have to do when you're in white. I mean, it is what it is. Arcane Encyclopedia has a better card out for this deck called Endless Atlas, but it came in at like $3, so it's over $2, so I didn't include it. But basically it does the same thing, but only at the cost of 2 mana and tapping it to draw a card. Finally, we have Vance's Blasting Cannon, Staffanin, and Outpost Siege. Staffanin is just going to give you a card on your upkeep. Vance's Blasting Cannon is going to provide you with that impulse draw that red likes. The same with Outpost Siege, but the Siege lets you play lands, and the Vance's Blasting Cannon does not. Alright. To ramp it out, we're going to use mana rocks. So these are just 3 basic rocks here that tap for a mana, for 2 mana. And these are the same, 2 4 mana and 1 mana, but then 2 mana to tap and get a basic land into the field in the case of Wayfarer's Bauble, and then Mindstone and Hedron Archive to draw a card later on. Then we're running the 4 Boros ramp cards. They're more optimal ramp cards to run than these 4, but these 4 are just for flavor. I mean, why not? 2 of them come in the kit. The other 2 are like maybe 3 or 4 cents a piece. Protecting our commander and other creatures, but primarily our commander, we use Whisper Silk Cloak, Swiftfoot Boots, and Mask of Avacyn. These give some kind of value, but mainly they're in the deck just to provide Shroud or Hexproof to our creatures. So for the landing, we're running some duels that just add both colors. We're running Command Tower and Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse to fetch for the lands that we need. And then we're running Slayer Stronghold, which is going to be a +2/+0 on Vigilance and Haste to a creature, and Sunhome Fortress of the Legion, which came in the deck, that allows you to pay 4 and tap it to give a creature double strike. The guild kits came with 8 of each land for Boros, but you're going to need 12 and 16 for the deck. So you're going to have to come up 4 and 8 lands, but I got a feeling you could probably figure it out. So the first primary upgrade I'd make in this deck is to switch out Aurelia the World Leader with Aurelia Exemplar of Justice, but Aurelia Exemplar of Justice goes for like $11.50, so I didn't include it. But what I'm going to do is, if you stuck around this long, or if you read the description of this video, I'm going to give this card away. So what I'll do is this video is coming out on the 25th of November. On the 21st of November, I'll take everyone that leaves a comment saying that they would like to win Exemplar of Justice, and I'll enter them into a random generator, and I'll choose one and do an announcement video on the 22nd. So you have from now until the 21st of December to leave a comment below saying that you want a chance to win Exemplar, and on the 22nd I'll let you know if you won. You can get a hold of me by email, and then I'll mail the card out to you. Your challenge achievement trophy, like we always do. Here we go with the challenge. Get 3 to 4 friends to play guild decks with you and play at least once a week during your routine play. Your achievement is to get your store to do an EDH guild league, develop a point system, and meet new people. So it's kind of like a fun thing to do. Before we say the trophy, I'll just say howdy, partner, and I'll tell you this. You're not going to break the game of Magic if you do what I say one time as far as this trophy goes. I know some people are going to be hesitant, but just for fun and flavor reasons, try it out before you yell at me in the comments and say, that's not the way Magic works. I'm aware that it's not the way that Magic works. I'm asking you to think about doing this just to have fun. I know it'll be broken all the time, but for one game, play in a 5-player guild match that allows everyone to add partner with just the one time to 2 primary guild mechanic legendary creatures. So example, you're running Aurelia in this deck, you add 2 Aurelia's text, partner with Tajik Legion's Edge, and then you have Tajik Legion's Edge that has all of its own stuff, but it also says partner with Aurelia. Then you run 2 commanders in the command zone and just try it out. It should make for some interesting gameplay and be kind of fun. Finally, if you really want all the fixings, go all out and pick yourself up a Boros playmat, a Boros guild kit, a Boros deck box, and the Boros sleeves. Why try to be halfway Boros? Wrapping it up, basically, if you want the lands to spin down in the pin, which goes for a pretty penny online, the spin down has the little guild thing stamped onto it on the 20 side, and the lands are pretty dope. If you want those, buy the guild kit. But if you haven't bought the guild kit yet and you don't really care about those extra benefits, you're better off just picking up the 1 or 2 cards that are making this the guild kit worthwhile on the side, and then just skipping the spare parts, especially if you're not going to play in a guild league. I'll say this, if you have bought a guild kit, play in a guild league. Just figure it out with your friends, talk to your store. The play experience is fun and it's worth it. And you can always just talk to them about the challenge achievement trophy and see what they want to do. Communication is pretty much the whole gathering part of Magic the Gathering, so give it a shot. If you want to check out this deck list in full, head on over to mtggoldfish.com. It's 1483047. So if you have 28 basic lands, then this deck's going to cost you $27.80. That's for every card that I talked about in this deck, minus the Exemplar Justice, which we're going to give one card away on the 22nd. But without the Exemplar of Justice, it's $27.80. So if you bought the guild kit, that cost is going to be reduced by the dollar amount that was on each card in this video. I think it's something like 12 or 13 bucks. So basically you can get this deck, especially in an optimized cart, for under $20 if you bought the guild kit, and for under $30, probably even under $25 in an optimized cart if you did buy the guild kit. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. It'd really, I don't know, subscribe if you want to, I guess. Hit like if you like the video, hit the bell so you know when I'm making more videos. I'm going to be doing one of these transition from guild kit to EDH decks for each of the guilds that comes out, extended on to Return to Ravnica that comes out here in January if they do have those 5 cycles in guild kits. Share the video if you want to tell other people about giving away Exemplar of Justice card, and comment below if you want to be entered. So basically you have from 25 November to 21 December to leave a comment saying that you're interested in winning Exemplar of Justice. I'll choose a random generator for whoever entered a comment, and then on the 22nd we'll give the card away. I'm Joshua Jones from Good Luck Have Fun Magic the Gathering. I think that about does it here. I've only tried to record this video 20 times today. My dogs are barking and jingling, and it looks like we wrapped it up. So before I jinx it and ruin it all by not plugging in the mic or something, we'll just call it. Yeah, cheers.